Welcome everyone to a brand new live lesson here at Playground Sessions. Thanks for joining everyone. I'm glad to see some familiar names in the chat. What's going on everyone? Glad to see some new names in the chat as well. I love seeing new names. If this is your first time joining for a Playground Sessions live lesson, you got to let me know in the chat. Where are you from? What brought you to the channel today? And so on. What's up John Sandlin? What's up Elta John? Hey Jennifer. Lynn Stewart in the house. What's up? Hey, Jamie Shilley. Pat Sir. Hello, sir. Sarah Pickles. What's going on, everyone? Daryl. Daryl Bushnell. How's it going? I'm looking forward to this, too. Rhonda. What's up, Rhonda? Happy Wednesday from Indianapolis. Indeed. This stream here is being broadcast out from Akron, Ohio. Snowy Akron, Ohio. Anyone else in the Ohio area? I know I've got a friend here from Cleveland. I don't know if you're in the chat this evening, but give me a shout out if you're in Ohio. Well, you guys, we have some fun stuff going on today. Hey, Franklin, what's up, man? Brandon J, first time joining, new rookie member, and has some questions. Well, let me hear them. Brandon, we do these every Wednesday, but we also have a really active Facebook community, and of course, we're doing all sorts of stuff in the interactive app on a regular basis as well. So, for those who are just joining, we're going to be spending today continuing down this path of talking about exercises to help build what we see up here. And it's not just about independence, it's also about dexterity and strength, and also remembering to be relaxed through all of it. That's a tall order. So you guys voted on this topic a few weeks ago. We spent some time yesterday and it seemed like you guys were enjoying the lesson and you learned some things. So we're keeping it going here, and I have some special exercises that I want to show you today that we didn't cover last week. So this is going to be fun. In the meantime though, let's get a Q&A going here. Doesn't have to be an official Q&A, but I want to just check in on the chat here and see if you guys have anything that can help kick off this lesson. Any questions about this topic? Any comments about how something is too difficult or anything? Hit me. What do we got? I'm seeing a question here from Jennifer. Jennifer says, I have a question. I bought a book on scales, and there's a natural, melodic, and harmonic scale, and I don't know what that means. Can you please explain that? Well, Jennifer, I'm going to give you a quick answer on that because today's topic is not scales, but that's okay. I'm fielding questions. You know, this is just a general music Q&A. But I do want to stay on the topic at hand. So when we're talking about scales, yes, the common ones are major and minor. If you've only ever heard of one scale, it's probably a major scale, maybe a C major scale. Every key on the keyboard, C sharp, D, everything has, every key here has its own major scale. It's not just the C scale. But there's other kinds of qualities of scales as well. And if you know two scales, it's likely major and minor, right? So when you see stuff like natural minor, melodic minor, harmonic minor, that can understandably be confusing. Really what we're talking about here are variations on a minor scale. And typically what we're doing is altering one or two notes in that scale to give it a different flavor, if you will. Briefly, I'm not going to go into the theory and how to build these scales right now, but I'll play a few of them for you and let you hear the difference. So let's take C, for example. That's what we were just talking about. C major has nothing to do with C minor. Here's C minor. Now, what notes do I do here? It depends. When we talk about a natural minor, when we talk about a melodic minor, and we talk about a harmonic minor, typically we're messing with the 7th and the 6th scale degree. 6th scale degree. Harmonic minor is actually my favorite because what we have is a 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, and a natural 7. And so you get that really nice kind of implied tonality and harmony that can come from that as well, right? And that comes from the interval between the flat 6th of the scale and the natural 7th of the scale. Okay? When we talk about melodic minor, what we're talking about is the same start but with a natural 6. And we're talking about a natural 7 as well. Now, this can get a little even more confusing because often as we're ascending or playing the scale up, we'll have the natural 6 and the natural 7, but often when we descend, you actually play the flat 7 and the flat 6. So this is why I didn't want to open this can of worms today, but I hope that this at least gives you some context, Jennifer, around why you're seeing these different types of minor scales. They're variations on the minor scale. Minor is mostly defined by a flat third. So you have your root, and then you have flat third. That's really what makes it minor. But what we do after that, or that gives it that extra kind of flavor variance, if you will. Cool, all right, let's get another one going. This one's from John Sandlin. What's up, John? Okay, John's talking about scale types too. Exactly. So John, I actually agree. It would be worth a larger discussion of the various types. In fact, the next time we vote on a topic, you guys, which I'll talk about more here in just a few minutes, we're going to try and change the format for how you guys vote on topics, but we'll get into that in a minute. Maybe that can be an option, and if enough people say, hey, I really want to dive into scales, then we can do that. I also want to remind everyone that we have not only some scale lessons in our boot camp in our interactive app, but we also actually have an entire scales course, and it's yours truly here walking you through major and minor scales in every key. Admittedly, I don't go into all the variants, and so even more reason maybe to do it here on YouTube. All right, hey, Elton John, here's one. What's the first thing you do as far as routines when you look at a piece of music for the very first time? Great question. I'm going to speak to that shortly because, again, I want to get to the exercise portion today. I know you guys' fingers want to get moving today. Elton John, the first thing that I do as a routine when I look at a piece of music for the very first time, all right, here's what I do. A bit of analysis. Doesn't really sound cool or fun necessarily. Occasionally I might try and get my hands up and sight read just as a way to, determine how difficult this piece might be, for example, or how easy. But really my first step is to do some analysis. Now, the key points that I look for in the very beginning when I analyze the music are typically the key signature and the time signature. What key are we in? Key of C, key of A, key of E, or is it changing keys throughout? I definitely want to look at that stuff first. And let's say we're in the key of E. I might then do a little bit of an E major scale, warm my hands up through the E major pathways a little bit. And then the other piece of analysis is the time signature. I need to know what I'm going to be counting in the song. And another piece of that is actually the tempo as well. Is this a fast song or a slow song? I want to take in all that information before I try and learn the notes and the rhythms and the hand positions and all that. From there, I'm ready to dive into the piece. Typically, I'll start from the beginning and work my way through. And hopefully this isn't new to you guys. This is something I say all the time. I definitely start one hand at a time, and then I put it together. I definitely start likely slower than the full tempo is supposed to be, and then gradually work my way up. Right? You guys know all that. But to answer your question, Elta, I start with some analysis before I jump in. Brandon J., I'm going to do your question here, and then we're going to get into some exercises. And for those of you who are writing more questions, I promise we'll check back in more in just a bit. So Brandon J. says, I'm a rookie. Oh, I lost your question. Here it is. I'm a rookie. Currently, I'm having a hard time remembering what notes are on both hands at a given time. For example, my right hand is on A, B, C, D, E. And my left hand is on G, A, B, C, D. Okay? And I can read notes fairly well, but if I see a D for my left hand, I'll mistakenly press it with my fifth finger. Ah, okay. I understand. Is this common? Okay. I'm going to answer this in twofold here, Brandon. My first answer is, it might seem obvious, but it is worth reminding here. And so here it is. In the left hand, the numbers of your fingers are a mirror image of the right hand. So in the right hand, it kind of makes logical sense. You start on the left and you go right, and the numbers get higher, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I'm looking at my position here and I see the number 5, I'm going to either think of my pinky or the fifth note of this position. However, that does not work in the left hand because counterintuitively, the numbers start from left to right, but they go from high to low in the left hand. In other words, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it may be, it's definitely understandable if you think, especially in a given moment, that this is your fifth note of your position. Well, this is your fifth finger because it's the fifth note of the position. However, remember that pinkies are 5. And if you have trouble remembering, take your hands, put them together like you're clapping, right? So that's how you can remember 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5s, okay? And so the second part of my answer here is going to be a bit of an echo of what I said in my answer to Elta's question, which is that I spend a good amount of time when I'm learning something new, one hand at a time. Now, it may not be the answer you're looking for because often all of us often may feel that we want to hurry up and get to the hands together because that in and of itself might suggest we've made progress, right? Now we're doing hands together. So you want to get to that point and prove that to yourself. However, sometimes it is necessary to go back to one hand at a time. And that might feel like you're sliding in your progress, but do not feel that way. It's a necessary step in getting long-term skills to be able to review what you've done and go back and simply review. So if you're doing hands together and you find that it is tricky for you to remember the notes in the hands, I will simply say pause, go back to one hand at a time, and practice it maybe for the rest of your practice session that day. Then the next day, get the hands back up, try it again. If it still doesn't feel 100% confident and comfortable, do it again. Go back to one hand at a time. I promise you that if you do that, eventually the hands will be able to play together. All right, guys, well, I'd like to get into some exercises with finger independence here. We talked a little bit about this last week, and I want to go deeper into it today. Now, last week, just as a bit of a review, we talked about a few things for those who are joining fresh today. I'll keep it quick. We talked about the fact that whatever you practice is going to build strength and independence and all that. But how often do we use these 3 fingers versus these 2 fingers, right? Quite often. Most of the time, we lean on these fingers more than we should. And so the result is that in our practice, these 3 fingers continue to get more strong and independent and whatever the terms you want to use. And then these ones tend to get left behind and neglected. So we went over a handful of ideas for ways you can work on those fingers a little bit more. My favorite one, I'll remind you, is this thing. I'm not sure if I made this up or not. Maybe it exists out there, but I think I came to it independently. But either way, this is a cool one. 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4. I'm literally only using those 2 fingers. And that's a cool pattern. I encourage you guys to try that. And you can do it with both hands as well, of course. This might be fun. Let's see. Ooh, that's a mind game right there. So that stuff is really worth doing, you guys. And it's not the most musical thing. Like, you know, Aiden and Andrew are looking at me now like, what is that you're playing? It's not something that sounds, you know, I might point to Hannon as an example of something that sounds musical, and it also is an exercise, a great one at that, or a set of exercises. This exercise is not as musical, but it is a strong workout, okay, for these guys. So jump into that. We also talked about the chromatic scale. Now watch my pinky as I play that. I can't even do it on purpose. Trying to get it to fly out like that. We also talked about that. As you're playing with these fingers, one thing we want to work on is getting your pinky to relax and not get stiff and jump up in the air. So if you're seeing yourself do that, you want to pause and relax. And sometimes that might mean making a fist and then fully just relaxing it, letting your fingers drape on the keys, and then trying it again. It could be even as slow as this, where you're working on every single note, keeping your pinky relaxed. Okay? So that was just a bit of a quick summary from last week. What I'd like to do today is talk about something that is less scale-based and more arpeggio-based. And so take a look at this notation here that I've prepared for us today. We're going to dig into this and spend a good amount of time on this. This is something that I prepared thinking about you guys in particular, this crowd, and I tried to make this something that would be challenging but not out of reach, okay? So here's what I'd like us to do. We're going to look at a C major, essentially a C major chord, and we're going to outline it one note at a time. And so before we get into the actual notation that we see here, focusing on my hand here. C major chord, and by the way, everyone get your right hand up and try this with me. C, E, G. And we're going to do that with 1, 3, and 5 fingers. Pretty straightforward. Now what I'd like us to do is jump up to first inversion C. And for those who don't know, that's okay. Just copy this. E, G, and C. And specifically, we're going to use 1, 2, 5 for that. So once again, from the top, C major root position, 1, 3, 5. C major first inversion, 1, 2, 5. All right, let's go to second inversion now. Now, many of you may want to play this like this, 1, 3, 5, and that's okay. But for today's purposes, I'd like you to use 4. 1, 4, 5. Now, if we invert it one more time, guess what? We're back to root position, C major, an octave higher. And we'll be back to our 1, 3, 5 fingering. So once again, a quick review here of what we just went over. C root position, 1, 3, 5. Play it with me. First inversion, 1, 2, 5. Second inversion, 1, 4, 5. This one's not going to feel very friendly to a lot of you out there. It doesn't feel very friendly to me. And then next we finally have root position. Now let's go back down, and I promise we're building our way up to this exercise up here. Back down now, we're going to go to second inversion, 1, 4, 5. First inversion, 1, 2, 5. Root position, 1, 3, 5. That's the basis of this exercise. Now what we see on screen here, let's just focus on the top line to start. Ignore the bottom line. The top line is what I just played, but one note at a time. And I'll walk through it once all the way, and then we will break it down. 1, 3, 5. 1, 2, 5. 1, 4, 5. 1, 3, 5. 1, 2, 5. Okay, now we're going to come back down, basically reversing this. 5, 3, 1. 5, 4, 1. 5, 2, 1. 5, 3, 1. And we'll end it there. I hope you guys can see that all of that, every group of 3 notes, eighth, and quarter note, is outlining the chords that we were just playing through as block chords, right? Here's C major root position. The first 3 notes that we see are C, E, G, okay? Now, let's do that much again up top. I'm going to play it faster, and feel free to play along if you'd like, but you don't have to. Just watch what I'm doing here. That's the goal here. That is an incredible workout, you guys, because not only are you getting a lot of use out of your 5th finger and a good amount of use out of your 4th finger, you're also switching it up depending on what shape you're playing. And when you go faster, it's definitely a good, kind of like a tongue twister, but for your fingers. 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 4, 5. All right, back down. 5, 4, let's see if I can count backward. 5, 4, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, 4, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 3, 1. Accenting there just as a sort of to show you the finger changing, but remember, as you're working on technique, you don't want to accent any of those. You want them all to be even. Let's take a pause here and just sort of review. I want to check in with you guys if you have any questions about this exercise, by the way, or what I'm doing, or if I'm moving too fast or whatever. Let me know so I can check in with you and I'm not just talking for too long without it being a two-way conversation, okay? But that's what I want us to work on, all right? 1, 3, 5. Now 1, 2, 5. The tricky 1, 1, 4, 5. 1, 3, 5, all right? And you can, of course, take that all the way up to the top of the keyboard and all the way back down if you like. back down. Of course, the left hand, you can do the same thing, you guys. I just wrote this in the treble staff for today, but the left hand is the same thing. It's just, remember, it's the mirror image. So 5, 3, 1, 5, 4, 1, 5, 2, 1. Okay? That is definitely worth screenshotting, whatever you need to do to get those couple of measures up there. Save it to your phone, whatever, and practice that on your end. If this becomes a popular thing, of course, we can try and add it to the app, but for now, this is a YouTube exclusive, we can call it. And then what I want to do next is look at the next line down in notation. But first, and let's keep the notation on screen, but what I want to do is go to the chat again, and I want to see if you guys have any questions or comments about this exercise. Yeah, John Sandlin, the 145 feels really odd. I totally get that. And like I said, in a real world scenario, 9 times out of 10, I personally am playing this with 1, 3, 5. But remember, this is not a song, a real world song. This is an attempt to exercise our weaker fingers. There's actually no reason why we can't play all of this with 5-4 or 5-4-3, let's say. It'd be super awkward, but check this out. Now, any classically trained technician out there is cringing right now. But I don't care, because I'm getting a super duper workout right now with my 5 and 4 and 3 fingers. Whoa, that was kind of fun, actually. So, John, I hear you. If it doesn't feel good, this is going to actually sound counterintuitive to what I always say, where the fingering exercises, the fingering suggestions are in place so that you have a comfortable hand position. But when it comes to working out these fingers, they're not very comfortable. So if you're doing it right, it's not going to feel good in the beginning, okay? There's a difference between, you know, those two statements. But I just want to highlight that, yes, this is comfortable with 1, 3, 5, but we could do all of this 1, 3, 5, and we'd never be working on 4. So that's part of the reason I have 4 in here. Jennifer, you're better at opening bottles than what? Than piano? Those are apples to oranges there, but that's a good skill, and you should feel proud. Yep. Sorry, I'm just checking in with you guys here. James, the garage band guy. What's up, my friend? All right. Hello from Spain, mi pueblo. Thanks for joining. All right, cool. Hey, I'm glad you're digging it, mi pueblo. Jamie Shilley, great question. How long would you do this for? This is good. Yeah, I mean, Andrew said your whole life. There you go. See you guys? Just kidding. I mean, in a way, that's true, right? This is something that you can always find some additional challenge in this exercise, whether it's to speed it up or whether it's to try the whole thing at pianissimo and at a super fast tempo. Whatever it is, you can find something that will provide an extra challenge. And so, for me, my personal skill level, I would say that the challenge for me would be to do it both hands together at a fast speed. Wee Chen on our team would probably crush that, and that's awesome. Wee is a beast. But for me, that's something that I haven't practiced a lot. So for me, that's what I would practice more. But to give you a more concrete answer here, what I would say is you want to practice this stuff in a given practice session for as long as it takes for one of a few things to happen. One, let's say you set a tempo goal for yourself and you're working your way up to that speed. Once you can play it at that speed, go ahead and graduate for the day from that. That's one benchmark for yourself that maybe you hit. Or practice it long enough for you to really start to feel a bit of a burn here. And you don't want to feel a bad burn like you're too tense. But even if you're relaxed and you're doing this for a while and you're going up and down forever, it's gonna get to you soon in a good way. It's gonna let you know that you've been really working it out, right? So what you don't want to do is feel pain and continue to push through that. Pain can suggest that you're doing something wrong and you're doing something that's creating extra tension or potentially even something that's harmful. That's not really going to happen unless you're hours into it, so I don't want to scare you guys, but Nevertheless, don't really practice through pain, okay? Give it a break. None of us are, it's not life or death here at the piano. Having said that, doing it once or twice simply is just not enough. And in fact, if you only practice a few times a week and you only do it once each time, the chances that you'll feel progress are pretty slim. It might take a long time for you to feel like you're making any progress. So if you're sitting down and you're actually practicing, half the battle has already been won, right? You're sitting down, you've made time, your fingers are on the keys. At that point, repetition is key. And so there's not really a short blanket answer I can give on this, but I tend to say if you're going to practice a scale, do it at least 10 times in a row correctly before you consider stopping. I would say that's a minimum for you to actually be making some progress. If you only practice once a month, then you should probably do it 100 times or something, right? So again, it just depends on a couple of factors, but definitely want to do it enough times to build muscle memory. You don't want to go too long or you're getting hurt. That's kind of where I'll leave it. All right, let me check in here on the chat just for one or two more, and then we'll get back to the notation that we see on screen here. Yeah, Alta asks if we can convert it to the left hand. 100%. I'll tell you what, this is dynamic right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab this, and I'm going to try and just change the key signature, and then I'm going to, the clef, excuse me. And then I'm going to lower those notes down into the left-hand range. I don't know why it's showing red. It probably thinks I have like a woodwind or a brass instrument or something here.
Because you're on a treble staff. That's the instrument type.
Yeah, okay, it's like a horn probably. Or
it's literally unnamed treble staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's under the treble staff, so it's red. Got it. Well, disregard the red, but these would be the notes. And I guess it would take me a minute here to change the fingering as well. So why don't I write it underneath? So left-hand fingering here would be the mirror image, right? 5, 3, 1, 5, 4, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 3, 1. And let's just leave it there for now. So let's see. All right, so Elta, there we have a left-hand exercise. And the bottom fingering here is what we'll use for the left hand, and I'll demo that real quick. Okay, so I'm starting way down here. 5, 3, 1, 5, 4, 1. Have fun with that, John Sandlin. 5, 2, 1, and now we're back. 5, 3, 1. We could keep going. Yeah. That's it. And so think about it like just like a C major scale, for example. What the right hand is doing up is what the left hand does down, in terms of fingering. What the right hand does down, it's that mirror image once again. All right, so I'm going to go back to where we were on the treble staff. Control Z all day. Okay. What I'd like to do now is keep things moving here on the bottom half. And really, essentially, all this is removing the pause or the break that the quarter note is giving us in the top line. So, in other words, the very top of our chord shapes above, we're holding it a little longer, right? And that, of course, is built in to help us have enough time to shift into the next shape, right? What we see in the second line down is the same idea of the same exercise, but we are no longer putting in any breaks. And this may seem pretty easy and pretty simple of a change, but you'll see when we start to play it, the timing kind of gets skewed. You start to lose the sense of the chord shapes, and it starts to become just a cool pattern, something like this. Now, where's beat 1, right? That's tricky. So what we have here is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and so on, right? So this is not only an evolution of the top system, because we're shortening the rhythms, right? Everything's an eighth note now. It's also more of a challenge mentally to be able to retain those shapes visually as you play through. And so let's go ahead and practice this one together, you guys. Everyone get up, right hand. And we'll go slow, of course. Fingering is all the same here. We just have to move between our chord shapes a bit quicker. All right, here we go. 1, 3, 5. Now quick. 1, 2, 5. Quick. 1, 4, 5. 1, 3, 5. Okay, let's just pause it there. Let's go back again and do that. Get up, get your hand up with me, and let's try that together again. Ready? 1, 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 5. Now 1, 4, 5. And 1, 3, 5. Okay, that's the idea. Now for those who want to go a bit faster. Oh, I forgot to go up one more. Sorry. All right, let's try a little faster now. Bum, 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 bum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to come back down. Didn't mean to play that, but I'll go ahead and resolve it. Awesome, awesome. So that's it, guys. And of course, we can take this a million different ways. We can make it longer, we can make it faster, we can eventually add both hands, and of course, we can mix up the pattern as well. I don't want to get too straight here, but we don't always have to go up from bottom to top. We can go, right? We can call it bottom, top, middle, maybe. See that? That becomes kind of a cool, different melody. Something like that, right? So there's all sorts of stuff we can do here. This is just a starting point. But I hope you guys are taking away, actually, let me summarize the takeaways. What we want to do here is give extra practice to 4 and 5, but we also want to practice having to change between them based on what's happening in the music. Unlike my exercise, which is just always 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, no matter what, this exercise requires you to know when to use your fourth finger and when not, right? And that it adds an extra layer. I want you to take this slowly to start so that you can ensure that you're playing it with the right fingering and you're not getting too tense and any of that stuff. Then work on speeding it up. And to go back to a question from earlier, how long should you practice this? I think Andrew's right. This can go for your whole life. And you can, of course, evolve it as you go, but there's something in there that can challenge you, I think, forever. So that's pretty cool. How are we doing in the chat here? I'm going to check back in with you guys. Let's see here. Philippe asks, does Hanon really help for hand independence? Well, I'm gonna put an asterisk here, Philippe. I'm going to say, when we're talking about hand independence, I think what you mean is kind of being able to do one thing in the right hand that is opposing or just different or syncopated from what's happening in the left hand. Hanon is not necessarily the best exercise for that because when you put the hands together, they're playing the same thing, right? Now, of course, the fingering is a bit different because it's that mirror image situation. But that's not really working on independence between the hands, right? But when we're talking about between fingers, right, within one hand, working out the different sort of patterns and pathways that you can do with different fingers, Hanon is one of the best examples, best exercises for that goal. And it's funny because it's hundreds of years old, and it's still one of the best, right? There's a reason why it's an iconic book, if you will, right? It's called Etudes for the Virtuosic Pianist. People are still using it. We're still talking about it here in this futuristic world of live streaming on YouTube. We're still talking about Hanon, right? So that should tell you it's a great exercise. If you want something to work on hand independence between the hands, I would direct you to most any song, right? And so pick a song in the song store. Even at the rookie level, you will often find 2 different hand positions and different rhythms. In the rookie level, you'll often find whole notes or half notes in the left hand, and you'll find different quarter note rhythms in the right hand. Even at the rookie level, that is good practice for hand independence. But if you're looking for a specific exercise, I don't really have one, to be honest. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. But again, what I do as an exercise is I'll just pull up a song and work on the syncopations within the song. All right? Diane asks, left hand in arpeggio and right hand in chord. Oh, hey. Actually, I don't know if that was meant to be part of an answer to the question I was just answering, but that totally could be something that you try, right? Block chords and then arpeggios, right? That could be a bit of a hand independence thing. That might look like this. Whoops, see, I messed it up there. Got to slow it down so I make sure I'm using the right fingers. 1, 3, 5. Left hand 1, 4, 5. Right hand 1, 2, 5. Now reverse that. Left hand 1, 2, 5. Right hand 1, 4, 5. And then 1, 3, 5 again. That's a nice one. Good call, Diane. Or Diane. Was it Diane?
Diane Duncan.
Diane Duncan, good call. Oh, she says left hand. So let's reverse those now. Left hand arpeggio, right hand chord. Ready? Yeah, this is nice. I like this. Good call. See, there's Diane making a variation on this and getting her own challenge out of it. That is a perfect example. So Diane, I'm going to toss you 3 free song credits in the Interactive Playground Sessions app. Way to go. I love the participation and I love the creativity with coming up with a variation on that exercise. With that in mind, let's go ahead and go to a pop quiz, you guys. For those who are new, I'm going to let you know how this works. I like to ask a question that has to do with some sort of a musical. It's not always trivia necessarily, but it's a question that that if you get it right, and you get it right by typing the correct answer in the chat, then you can win a free song credit for the app. Sometimes I'm feeling generous and I'll give 2 or 3 away. Sometimes I'll give even more away. You know, it's Valentine's Day coming up after all. So you guys are all my Valentines for the day, and I'm gonna 3x everything today. So whoever wins gets 3 free song credits. That's what we're doing today. That's right, making it rain song credits on you guys. All right, so what I like to do is pull from previous live lessons. I like to reward the people who have been here, who've been hanging in the previous lessons. But it's not something that you have to have been here for to know. So that's for you newbies. All right, let's see. What do we want to do for a pop quiz question of the day? Here's one. I'm looking for the first 3 correct answers in the chat. We talked about our exercise today, right? And I talked about how it's based on actual chord shapes. This is the chord, but we're playing it 1 note at a time. And then here's the chord, but we're playing it 1 note at a time. Here's the question. When you play a chord 1 note at a time, what is that called? What is that? What am I playing when I do this? Not playing chords, although it's based on chord shapes. What is that called? Playing a chord 1 note at a time. It could also be like this. Or any variation of that. First 3 correct answers, each of you are going to get 3 free song credits for that. Feeling generous. I'm in a loving mood, you guys. It's Valentine's. So while you guys are typing your answers in, I'm going to go ahead and get some workout here going with my 4th and 5th fingers, all right? You guys can practice with me if you like, but get those answers in. I'm going to practice Diane Donkin's exercise. That was cool. All right, I'm going to slow it down. You got me, Diane. There we go. Yeah, that's challenging. Look at that. My left hand, it's funny, we think about 4 and 5 being the only ones that really get neglected, but when you pair them up in different ways, 3 and 4 also are pretty awkward. In fact, can you guys do this? Aiden and Andrew are trying right now.
What?
Can you take 3 and 4 and bend them in at the same time and not bending your other ones? That's tricky. At the knuckle? Yes. So you'll see it's hard. What's really hard is to keep your 4th finger independent from the surrounding fingers. So keeping it independent from 5 is challenging, but keeping it independent from 3 can be challenging as well. Do we have some answers?
We do.
We do. All right, you guys, when you play a chord one note at a time, there's actually, I think, two acceptable answers here for this. What I was officially looking for, because I did mention this today, is arpeggio. So for those who put arpeggio, you are correct. However, there's not really much of a difference between what I'm doing and what many of others of you said, which is broken chords. Now, I tend to think about the difference as follows. If I'm playing something in the left hand that repeats, whatever it is, right? That feels like a broken chord. Whereas something in the right hand that spans more than an octave feels more like a melodic thing. And so then I think about that kind of as an arpeggio. But it's Valentine's Day coming up, so I'm going to accept both answers. And that means we're really going to be making it rain today. So, Elton John says broken. You get 3 free song credits. I love books to read. That's what's up. I love that name. Says arpeggio. You get 3 free song credits. So we're going with the first 3 arpeggios, and we're going with the first 3 brokens, all right? Here we go. Yeah, Andrew's going to have to keep track of these. So, Elton John is the first broken one. Brandon J. Oh, Brandon, you said block chord. That's actually the opposite of what we're doing. Block chord is when we do that. Broken chord, or arpeggio, is when we play them one note at a time. You're close. Looking for brokens. Okay, Pat Sir, my friend. You are the second broken chord. Brandon J. You fixed it. There you go. You still got it. There you go. Brandon J. Broken chord. All of you guys are getting 3 free song credits. Email support@playgroundsessions.com and say, Andrew, I won 3 free song credits on the stream before Valentine's Day. Hook me up. Okay, now I'm going back to the top. The first 3 arpeggio people are going to get 3 free song credits each as well. I love books to read. Boom. 3 free song credits. Franklin E. Gonzalez, Dwint, what's up? Arpeggio, you get 3 free song credits as well. And my main man, Robert Atkins, what's up? 3 free song credits. How many did I just give away? 18 free song credits, you guys. That's pretty cool. I hope you guys are happy with that. It's the least that I can do because this community is so awesome. I love the participation. We really love seeing you guys each week. So this has been a good one. What I want to do, you guys, before we wrap up for the day is go back to our notation, and I want to just kind of review one last time, and I want to give you guys one final chance to take a screenshot of this and practice this on your end, okay? So I'm just going to walk through it from the top to the bottom. Here's the top. 1, 3, 5. 1, 2, 5. Next is 1, 4, 5. Now 1, 3, 5 again. Now we're going to go up one more, 1, 2, 5, and now we're going to come back down. Now 5, 3, 1. Now 5, 4, 1. Now 5, 2, 1. And now we're back to root position, 5, 3, 1. All right, now this is going to be for, was it Elta that was asking for the left hand? Here's the same thing, an octave lower in the left hand. 5, 3, 1. 5, 4, 1. 5, 2, 1. 5, 3, 1. One more. 5, 4, 1. Now back down. 1, 4, 5. 1, 3, 5. 1, 2, 5. 1, 4, 5. And 1, 3, 5. All right, now let's go to the next line down, the second system. Keep it slow. Ready? 1, 3, 5. 1, 2, 5. 1, 4, 5. 1, 3, 5. Now back down to 1, 5, 3, 1. 5, 4, 1. 5, 2, 1. 5, 3, 1. And just for good measure, we'll go back down one more and end it with 5. Oh, I got a wrong finger in here, don't I? Re-screenshot it, you guys. That should be a 2. No, a 4, excuse me. Okay. Yep, that's right. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing here in the left hand. Ready? and back down. End it on whatever finger you like, as long as it's not 5. Now, you guys, once again, just to highlight this, it's so important. You can take what you see up here and tweak it and evolve it and morph it in any way that you like to fit the challenge level that you need right now, okay? If that was too easy for you, try putting the hands together and going faster. If that was too tough, go slower. Maybe don't go as far up the scale yet. Just work on the first 3 and then back down and go slow. There's all sorts of ways you can tweak it to your level, you guys. So we're gonna leave it there, and I'm just gonna play you guys out, all right? I'll see you a week from today, Wednesday, whatever that date is, 2/17. Yeah, there it is. February 17th. I'll see you guys at 6 p.m. Eastern here on the Playground Sessions YouTube channel. Tell a friend, tell a family member if they want to learn piano. They are welcome. See you guys next week.